Around 83 billion rolls of toilet paper are consumed every day around the world. It's one of the most essential items in our homes, but how is toilet paper made? We visited a paper mill to find out how it works. Toilet paper was developed in 1857 by American entrepreneur Joseph Gary, who marketed it as therapeutic paper. In the early years, it was sold in pre-cut packs, but in 1890, a major breakthrough occurred with the invention of the roll, which revolutionized its use and made it more practical and accessible. It is estimated that each person uses about 100 rolls of toilet paper per year. That equates to about 21,000 million rolls worldwide annually, enough to make the land profitable many times over and spread everything out to reduce the cutting of trees, an industry that relies heavily on recycling other types of paper. But transforming this raw, used paper into soft, white, absorbent paper is a complex task. Developed over 150 years ago at this impressive paper mill, the production of the highest quality toilet paper is achieved using an innovative recycling process that gives waste paper a new useful life. From schools, offices, and universities, every paper that comes into the mill undergoes a meticulous sorting process, carefully separating office paper, magazines, and newspapers. They adhere to strict standards of purity as if it were alchemy. Only bright white and quality papers are selected to participate in this wonderful transformation. These papers have high fiber quality and are easy to handle. They become soft, hygienic paper. Once the paper is collected and properly sorted, it is temporarily packaged into large bales. The compacted bales allow large quantities of recycled paper to take up less space, making it easier to store in the mill when the conversion process begins. About 200 tons of paper are recycled every day. The recycled paper is fed into a machine called the pulpadora, a large industrial container. The giant blender is designed to mix water and recycled paper at high speed, breaking the paper down into its basic fibers, then adding a large amount of water because the decomposition process requires the paper to be completely moist. To separate the fibers, more water than paper is used to create a watery mixture called pulp. Once the paper and water have entered the pulp machine, rotating blades begin to stir the mixture with great force. This motion breaks the paper sheets into small particles and releases the cellulose fibers that make up the paper. The shaking process lasts for 10 minutes. As the paper is shaken and broken, the cellulose fibers separate from each other, forming fibrous pulp, the liquid consistency of long, flexible fibers needed to make new sheets of paper. Once the paper has been converted to pulp, it is important to remove any impurities or unwanted materials that remain after the decomposition stage. The first cleaning method involves passing the pulp through a series of filters and sieves to remove larger particles that have not been filtered. These sieves act like a strainer to separate out impurities larger than cellulose fibers. The liquid pulp passes through screens to retain larger objects such as staples, plastic glue pieces, and other pieces of paper or material that do not dissolve properly during the decomposition process. Despite going through many cleaning machines, the pulp remains dark. This is mainly because its main contaminant, the ink, has not been removed. One of the most common techniques for removing the ink is flotation. Special chemical agents called surfactant are added to the pulp so that the ink particles attach to the air bubbles. As the bubbles rise to the surface, the ink particles are swept away to form foam, which is then removed when the ink is gone. The pulp passes through a series of rollers that squeeze out excess water, absorb bleaching chemicals, and rotating blades that cut the pulp in preparation for bleaching. It turns the recycled, unadulterated cellulose pulp from gray to white. All the ink is extracted, but it still isn't white. This is because the raw material contains 5 to 10% newspaper. To remove the lignin, an all-chemical process called bleaching is required. This takes place in a giant tank called a bleach tower. Inside, the cellulose pulp is briefly exposed to a series of chemicals. The temperature is controlled, and thus the whiteness of toilet paper is achieved. To achieve the strength and softness of toilet paper, two types of virgin fibers are used: short fibers and long fibers. Long fibers are taken from softer wood, which gives the paper its strength. The bleached pulp is then spread over a sheet of paper that has been put through a powerful dryer in most paper grades. The water mixed with the fibers is removed, allowing the fibers to bond together and form a solid sheet of paper in less than a second. The pulp becomes a thin sheet of paper just 1/10 of a millimeter thick when fully formed, rolled into large rolls. These toilet rolls are giant rolls of toilet paper that have not yet been cut into commercial sizes. Each roll produced can be up to 75 meters long. These large rolls will soon be reduced to thousands of rolls. The 10-centimeter wide rolls that we usually have in our bathrooms, after being rolled into large rolls, are transported to the factory's converting department, where various mechanical operations are performed to cut the paper into smaller rolls. The converting process is the unrolling of the paper. These machines are responsible for unrolling the paper in a controlled manner, preparing it for cutting and processing into the smaller rolls we know as toilet paper. The toilet paper we commonly use has holes punched into it to make it easy to tear into conveniently sized sheets. This step is essential to ensure that the user can tear the sheets without difficulty when they are unrolled and fed through the punching machine. Creating small, regular indentations along the holes in the paper allows the paper to be easily separated into uniformly sized sections, usually 10 to 12 centimeters long for each sheet. This pattern is not only decorative, but also makes the paper thicker and more absorbent. The function of embossing is to add weight to the paper and, of course, to add softness to the sheets. Two 80 centimeters wide cardboard sheets are glued together to form a continuous cardboard tube, which is then cut into 165 centimeters long pieces. These tubes are transferred to the winding area, where the two rolls are rolled together. To make double-ply toilet paper, the paper is rolled into cardboard tubes to form very wide rolls. Once rolled, a blade automatically cuts it, and the process continues with glue being applied to the ends of the roll block. It is opened and a circular saw cuts the roll into 16 standard rolls, each 10 centimeters wide. The toilet paper is now ready for packaging. Commercial rolls are individually wrapped in paper. Household toilet paper is packaged in transparent plastic in quantities from 4 to 30, and this is about 15 hours ago. Tons of used paper and cellulose fibers are ready to be re-released into society in the form of toilet paper. If you like the interesting information we bring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to always receive the next interesting videos. Thank you for accompanying us. See you on the next journey of discovery.